What's good, NBA family? Today's Saturday, November 4th, and week two recap is here, baby. We got to talk about what's been going on in the league. We seen Wemby's going off for 38-point double-doubles. We see KD losing 2 games back-to-back in the Suns. We see Bradley Beal not playing. We got a lot going on around the NBA, and most of all, I had to bring on my guy, T Riz. If you a faithful fan of Clutch Talk, if you've been watching the show for a minute, you already know this is a familiar face. My guy, Mr. Top Notch, the Mr. One and Only, my guy Trent, my dog. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I feel like I haven't been on a show in a minute, so it feels good to be on here, man. Um, and shout out to all you supporters. Shout out to John putting the work in, and I'm excited for today's show.
Hell yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. For the family out there, yeah, before we get into it, but Trent is a great NBA content creator, so make sure y'all go check him out. I have everything linked in the description down below. He got a whole bunch of pages. If you're a Miami Heat fan, he got some perfect for you set up over there. But let's stop the chit chat, man. Let's get straight into it. We got a jam-packed show. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off with some news around the league, and we wouldn't even be able to call ourselves an NBA talk show if we didn't talk about this James Harden trade. So, T, since you are the guest, I want to open up the floor to you and just give me your thoughts on the trade. And for the family out there, for those of you guys that don't know the trade, it officially was the 76ers. They received Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, and multiple picks. The Clippers got James Harden, PJ Tucker, and I think his name is like Flip, like Petsker or something like that. But
Yeah,
I'd be sick if that nigga didn't even get put on ESPN. ESPN put the trade on and excluded his name. That's crazy. But
that's messed up. That's
anyway,
messed up.
T, talk to us.
Man, so if you guys don't know, I am a Russell Westbrook fan, so it is interesting that James Harden did get traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, and the night of that he got traded, me and John was on the phone for a long time because they want to bamboozle us and say James Harden has been traded, but never give us the information. Like I think everybody's just waiting on Twitter, everybody's just waiting on Shams and Woj and all this stuff. And I was telling them, I'm like, if they don't trade Norman Powell or Terrence Mann, they easily win this trade. And what do they do? They go out there and trade some chips and they trade for some weak brownies because they only gave up Marcus Morris, who if you watch the Clippers last season, he was damn near unplayable. Heading into this year, hasn't even played a season. He was coach's decision of not being suited up, and mind you, a lot of people are injured, so that just shows a lot right there. You got, Nicholas Batum. Don't get me wrong; he's been in this league for a long time and bringing that presence for the Clippers in the locker room and hit big shots. But you easily can replace him, right? And then, who else they gave up? Oh, Robert Covington. You got to do something, right? Like for Robert Covington, it is a somewhat of a big loss because what he brings on the defensive end, and if he can consistently knock down that corner three, it's tough. But when you're trading for a star player, I won't say a superstar player anymore, but a star player in James Harden, you got to give up something. And if that's what I'm giving up, I'm totally fine with it. And I know a lot of people keep talking about, oh, these picks, they gave up 2 first-round picks and this and that. Let's be honest, the Clippers are in the position where they have to do anything that's possible because if they don't win a championship after you go out and get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back, let's not talk about Harden real quick. The fact that you got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and have yet to see them healthy on the court at the most important parts, they want to win now. And so they're like, yo, we're going to trade these picks. We got to do what we got to do because we can't really rely on these players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Now, going into the James Harden situation, you are trading for a drama queen. You are trading for a player that has been bouncing from team to team. He's being like a, let's not say that, but pretty much like he's bouncing from team to team. And now everybody's wondering the fit. We haven't seen it yet, of course, right? Yeah, I believe he's playing the next game. I believe that's going to be the Clippers versus Knicks. I believe coming up. I think he's going to be playing that game. The lineup revealed hasn't been dropped yet. Ty Lue is being very, very weird with it. He's keeping it really, really low key. I don't think they bench Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has been playing incredible, but it'll be interesting to see if they're like, yo, let's keep Russ, Harden, PG, Kawhi, and Zubac. That means everybody's playing a different position that maybe they're not used to, right? Kawhi has to play the forward now. I think George originally is a 3, but people consider him 2-3. Doesn't really matter. But that means this is more off ball for Russell Westbrook because I think James Harden originally is just going to have the ball in his hand majority of the time. I look at the positives. he's going to run the offense, and that's what they need. He's going to run the offense. If you watch the Lakers and Clippers game, it was very stagnant. It was a lot of one-on-one basketball. No one can score outside of Kawhi Leonard after Paul George got fouled out. So I think he can run that offense a little bit. And then some cons, obviously, is that John says it all the time. There's only one basketball. So how's this offense going to work? If they got the coach to do it, this is the coach to do it. Is Ty Lue. So we'll see. There's still a lot of questions with it. At the end of the day, I like to trade both for the Clippers and the 76ers. 76ers right now, John, are a top team in the Eastern Conference with 4-1. Kelly Oubre looks like he's replacing James Harden in the fact that he's averaging 20 points a game right now. So remember, I wasn't a big fan of Kelly Oubre because of his percentage-wise on the Charlotte Hornets, but he's being efficient this year, giving them 25-5. So, well, 5-2, and you really can't complain about that. Damn, they averaged 2 steals. So, I like it for both sides. You finally get rid of the drama queen, and it just was a negative to Nick Nurse, especially with new coaching staff. And then for the Clippers, they're going all in, and you didn't give up Terrence Mann or Norman Powell. And this would be my last thing. I do think the Clippers do need to trade Norman Powell for some forward depth and some mainly some forward depth, because having Norman Paul on the team doesn't really make sense because you already got your shot creators in Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden. Norman Powell does the same thing, just coming off the bench, and you still got Bones Highland. So you trade in for some forward depth, and I think this team could do something. But we say this every single year, John. Every year we say this.
Man, every year we talk about the Clippers, and I mean, every single year they are good when they're healthy, but and then they just at the right time they are never healthy when it matters most. So I mean, that's definitely their biggest downfall. But what I want to get into, and like especially with you being such a big Westbrook fan, is like, where do you think this fit come? Like, where do you think it's going to fit? Like, do you want to see all 4 stars on the court at the same time? Do you want to see staggered minutes? Who stays on the starting lineup, Russell Westbrook or James Harden?
I truthfully think they both start. I don't think they bench Russ.
So all 4 start.
Yeah, I think all 4 do start, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
But honestly, it doesn't. If you look at it, right? If Russ goes to the bench, so you're gonna have Russ and Bones out there, that doesn't make sense to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now they do play together because the Clippers depth has been so depleted with injuries and the trade and stuff, so they have been playing together recently. But Russ and Bones don't make sense, especially on the defensive end. Does that make sense to you? I don't care how good Russ is, like how good, like I wouldn't say he's a great defender, but he just
He has a
tries.
motor. Yeah, his energy.
Yeah, he just tries out there. So I personally don't like that, right? So there's still a lot of questions with it. I do think first game is Russ and Harden. The more they get deeper into the season and Ty Lue starts noticing what lineups can work and this and that, then maybe one of them. I don't think Harden goes to the bench. It's obviously going to be Russ. Russ already came off the bench. And Russ is just so happy in Clippers. I think he'll do whatever it take right now to win. And so at that point, you have Harden, PG, and Kawhi Leonard probably closing out some games. And I don't mind that. Because at the end of the day, as a Russell Westbrook fan, I just want to win a championship because that's all he's really missing, personally, in my opinion. Just winning that ring.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. No, he definitely has all the individual stats. He just definitely just needs the ring.
He needs that team stat.
But for me, for me personally, I actually think that Russell Westbrook should start. So they should keep Russell Westbrook there as that point guard, as the player who initiates the offense to be able to get PG and Kawhi some easy buckets. Of course, you keep Kawhi and PG in there. That's the head of the team. That's the heart of the team. And I actually think you bring James Harden off the bench for this reason, because like how you talked about, you don't really have that much of a bench depth anymore. You gave up a lot of your depth to be able to have these top heavy stars, and now you have a wow amazing 1 through 4, in those 4 stars, but then the rest of the team, there's a really big fall off. And I think that in the playoffs, what matters is having that deep bench. Is when your stars get that break that they're gonna need. They're not robots. This isn't 2K. Can your team not have that huge fall off? And I think that if you have James Harden on there, you ask James Harden to take an ego like downgrade or whatnot, but when he's on a second unit, bro, you could imagine that this is Houston. This is second unit James. Go ahead, imagine this is Houston. Go off, go to work, be have the ball in your hands, be ball dominant. Because honestly, brother, like I just cannot see James Harden as a successful 4th option. Like we have never seen him as his 4th option in his career, and in this team, he would be the 4th option. So I can't see him as a successful 4th option. This man already said like, "Oh, I'm not a system player. I'm a system," and it's like, bro, you're coming into the Clippers organization. Like, you're not what you used to be. You're a lot older. You're a lot slower. Like, yeah, at one point you were a system. At one point you were the system, but you're coming into the Clippers and you're not the system. Kawhi Leonard is the system. Paul George is the system. Russell Westbrook is the system before you. Everybody is the system before you out of those 4 stars. So it's like, to me, is he even coming in with the right mindset? Like, he notoriously has struggled off ball. So for me, I want to see him off the bench. But I mean, like how you said, if any coach is gonna get it done, it's got to be Ty Lue, dog. It's got to be
Yeah,
Ty.
I mean, I like the point of him coming off the bench. I don't think James Harden is the point of his career where he's going to take that CP3 role. If you see CP3 coming off the bench, playing the starting, and he's playing incredible basketball, the Warriors. I mean, back in the Kia 3 days, I was like, I think the Warriors are going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I think James Harden is just not there. I think James Harden still thinks he's a top 5 player in the game. I honestly think he still thinks he's the best shooting guard in the league, which we all know
He's
he's not.
crazy.
So James Harden's ego is all the way up here and needs to go down right here. Like, a lot of people criticize Carmelo back in the day when he was on OKC, and he
Mhm.
finally took that role. Even Russ, they criticize him. He needs to go to the bench. He finally took that bench unit role, and he's doing what he got to do. Like, some people in point of their career, unless you're LeBron James, you need to step down and need to help your team win. And hopefully James will do that, because I just want this team to win a championship. But this can possibly go down as, I wouldn't say a disaster trade, because like you didn't really give up too much, but it can definitely go as one of like the biggest failed super teams ever.
Show.
Outside, like ever.
Show.
Like, I know a lot of people talk about Kobe and Steve Nash and Howard back in the day, and the Harden. It's funny because Harden continues to be part of failed super teams. Harden,
For real.
Irving. So we'll see. Maybe Harden's the problem.
For real, man. That is crazy. That's crazy. But all right, brother. So let's go ahead and get to our last little news segment before we get to our rate your worry segment of the show. And that is, I gotta get your news. I mean, I gotta get your thoughts on this in-season tournament. November 3rd, which was yesterday. It was the first like time the in-season tournament came out. These courts were crazy. Give me your thoughts real quick. You like it? You don't? What's up?
So to be honest, I was at work, so I watched one game. I watched the Miami Heat game against the Wizards. One thing I will say is, like, for business perspective, like business wise for the NBA, I think it's pretty cool. Because the NBA is just trying to continue to keep making money. And listen, that's going to get the fans going, the ratings going. It's going to get talked about a lot, because what's everybody talking about? They're talking about the courts. They're not even
Yeah.
talking about, what's going on in the games and stuff like that. But no, they're talking about the court. So I think that's definitely very, very unique. And also, just for the NBA players in general, a lot of them don't know what's going on. But what I do know, and I think I've seen this, and I don't want to say it's 100% true, but they do win type of money. If you win this
Yeah.
tournament, you win. Yeah, you win about $500,000 as a winner. You get second place, third place, and stuff like that. So as a player, think of a player like,
A
I
nigga
don't
who's
know,
riding
like,
the bench, a nigga
yeah,
who's on the end of, yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
Like a Paul Reed, right? I don't know, like
Yeah.
a Paul Reed, bro. Winning 500K, that's a
Is
bonus. Like, we
nigga what?
talking about, what's it called? Like, we be at our regular jobs talking about, yo, I just got a bonus, and it's like 5K or whatever, right? You just got a 500K bonus just playing some basketball. That's part of the NBA
That's
season, but it's
crazy.
just in the tournament. So I definitely think it makes it more unique. I definitely think it makes it interesting. And to be honest with you, I think it's gonna get lit when you start hitting the elimination games. Because right now there's
Mhm.
no elimination games. And you know it's crazy, John? The games are exactly where we was at, bro. The exact
Man, huh?
same
They are in
spot
Vegas.
in Vegas, dog. The
Man, shout
same
out
spot.
Vegas. Man, Vegas is probably lit right now, bro. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so
Vegas probably
it's
lit.
cool. I think it's unique, and also this is probably not part of it, but they brought the old All Star stuff back too.
Yeah.
There's no draft, so they're just trying to fix everything and see. So shout out to Adam Silver, man.
Shout out to Adam Silver getting his bag and getting the players
Yeah,
their bag, man. But all right, so yeah, I just wanted to get
yeah.
your thoughts on that. But let's go ahead and keep pushing. Let's get to our first official segment of the show here, and that is the rate your worry segment. With this rate your worry 1 through 10, I got a statement here, and you tell me how worried you are. We could dive into it a little deeper or not.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and jump straight into it, and let's talk about the Grizzlies. Wow, they are struggling with an 0-6 start. So rate your worry 1 through 10 on the slow start that the Memphis Grizzlies are having.
The Memphis Grizzlies are bad. They're bad, and the thing is about them is like, we there's no job, but they're used to no job. That's the thing. They are used to it. But the problem is, what did you do? You shipped off Tyus Jones, Steven Adams out for the season. And I feel super, super bad for Steven Adams, man, because he missed the postseason last year. And I'm not saying the Grizzlies would have came out there and beat the Lakers, but he would have definitely made a difference because you're relying on Xavier Tillman, and that's no shade at him because he just plays his role. But Steven Adams lets Jaren Jackson Jr. be himself. When Steven Adams is not out there, Jackson Jr. has to play a role that he's not used to playing. The dude Jackson needs to work on his rebounding, and that's what Steven Adams is good at. So you don't got the Jones, and yes, you trade for Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart's not gonna win. I gotta see this team as a full sample, but they're already cooked. I believe what they're 0-7, right?
They're 0-6 right now, dog.
0-6, yeah, they're cooked, especially in the tough West. I at least expected this team to be in the play-in. I don't even see that. I think it's just too. When you start this season 0-6,
that's tough.
You are in you have to chase wins now. Like you really have to chase wins, and not only that. And Garrett, I know you love Derrick Rose, but the dude's already hurt. That was one of your key additions, right? He's already hurt. So now you're relying on players like David Arati and Zaire Williams, where these players just haven't really developed to what you really want them to be. So I'm concerned.
I'm concerned, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm damn near 8, 9 concerned on the rate scale because dog, and I talked about this as well. We're I think I don't know if it's just me and you, but we're debating this. And people were like, the Grizzlies are still going to be fine, even though they missed that 25 games without Ja. And I'm like, you got to realize, the Grizzlies were great last year when Ja was out because Tyus was there. When Tyus is not there, that changes literally everything. As the point guard, Tyus literally brought the ball up court, initiated the offense. Whenever the Grizzlies got frantic and the defense sped him up, Tyus was able to slow the game down, kept the pace. And I mean, that was literally the entire. That's damn near all of their wins, dog. They haven't won a single game.
Yeah.
That they're the only team. I believe that the only team
to
not win a single game. Either the Wizards already won in the East. Yeah, so that's honestly embarrassing. I'm very concerned. And then I mean, I guess you already answered my question, but so you don't think that they'll finish as a top 6 seed then, huh?
No, they're definitely not finishing as a top 6 seed. Maybe Ja comes back and makes a crazy, spectacular.
Nigga would have to not lose a single game.
Yeah, pretty much. But it also tells you how important Ja is, right?
Yeah.
That it tells that. So maybe they just that alone, they give him an extension and they trust in the dude, right? Just that alone, outside of the noise. But another thing I'd want to say, and we can carry on, is Derrick Rose is not that Tyus Jones type guy. Derrick Rose is more the type of guy, he wants a bucket. He's going to go out there and score. So he's not that playmaking dude. And they brought him in for scoring. And guess what? The dude's already injured.
Come on, D Rose. Man, all right, let's go ahead and let's get to our next Rate Your Worries statement here. And that is when our guy Brandon Ingram, man. Last season, he only played 45 games due to his knee injury. The year before that, he only played 55 games due to that same knee injury. And now this season, he has missed the last 3 games due to that exact same right knee injury. He only played in the first game. So rate your worry on Brandon Ingram's injury and how is this going to affect the Pelicans?
Well, I will say this. He is back today. I see that report today. He is back. But the thing about Brandon Ingram throughout his career, outside of the first season with the Los Angeles Lakers, he never touched 70 games. So this is just something normal for Brandon Ingram. He's going to miss a lot of time. And the problem with the Pelicans is that when you already have one of your star players missing time in Brandon Ingram and then your other star player in Zion missing time because of injuries, this team is just never going to go anywhere just because of health. I know we talk about the Clippers and stuff like that, and they're in a whole different level because they traded for these players and stuff like that, and they're stars, superstars, Hall of Famers and whatnot. But the Pelicans, man, they're going to go down as one of those teams that what ifs? Because you have a CJ, you have a Brandon, you have a Zion, you have a Jonas, you have a Herb Jones, a Trey Murphy when he's fully healthy. I forgot his name, Jose, the dude that's always, him. So the team's always good. You have a really good coach in Willie Green. So when it comes into concern of this, I am concerned just for the fact that if you want to make the playoffs, you need your star talents out there. And I'm not a believer in CJ McCollum, to be honest with you. And we had a whole debate with this, talking to Kia Threes, and if he's going to be that number 2 guy, and you already got Zion who played 30, 40 minutes, and they're like, you know what? Let's rest him. So it is a concern because he's going to come back today, right? And then he's probably going to get a rest game. Or he's probably going to be I'm not feeling right. So it's a huge concern. So outside of the Lakers, first year he played 79. Everything else is 50 to 60 games, and that's just not enough for me.
Damn, man. But let's say that he does have a healthy season. Let's say Zion has a healthy season too. CJ stays on the court. Do they even have enough to compete? to compete and win a championship or get
Well,
there.
see, the thing is, we're gonna talk about championships. We don't care about like competing. This is to win a gold, right?
Yep.
I will say this: the Pelicans thing has fallen off since they gave the Phoenix Suns a run. Remember that back in the day, was it the Phoenix Suns or the Dallas Mavericks where they gave them a run but they lost and they're like, yo, this Pelicans team is
Yeah, it
gonna
was
be here for a long time, right? That's done and over with. No one cares about that no more, right? It's done and over with, right? So yes, this team was a first place team when everybody was healthy last year. I agree. But the problem is when you look at the standings, right? And we're talking about everybody's healthy because if we're going to talk about the Pelicans being healthy, we're going to talk about everybody being healthy. They're not beating the Nuggets at all, right? They probably won't ever beat the Lakers. It'll probably be tough. They're not beating the Lakers. Clippers are healthy. They're not beating them. The West is just too tough. The Warriors, man, they're 5-1, bro. Like, yo, the
man.
Warriors are killing it right now. Even Dallas, like the Dallas Mavericks are 4-1, bro. They're playing some really, really good basketball. So if you just want to look at the standings, and yeah, Pelicans are 4-1, but what we're talking about in big moments, one, we never seen Zion playing big moments. We never seen it at all. So that's a concern to me. And there's just other teams in here that I'm just not confident in them beating. And so I don't think they have enough to compete.
Man, nah, that's real. That's why I wanted to ask you, is because I mean, I was gonna say, like, let's say that Zion and Bi do have a healthy season, but I would not have them beating the top teams in the West, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But all
and
right, brother,
let me just say this and
keep
we
going.
continue. I don't even know if they can beat the Thunder in a 7-game series.
Man, the Thunder this year, the Thunder might fuck around and finish as a top six
Yeah,
seed this year, bro. I ain't
literally.
gonna lie to you.
So and in the Kings too. Let's not forget the Kings when they're healthy, the Suns when they're healthy. Like the West is just too deep. So now,
And that was the perfect transition. You said the Suns when they're healthy. So that's what I want to ask you, right?
perfect.
And let's talk about another injury riddled player who we have not seen at all this season yet. And that is Mr. Bradley Beal. He was having these back injuries. He has not played one game yet. Rate your worry on that. How worried are you for that situation?
To be honest, I'm worried just because of the fact that Bradley Beal played in preseason, right? And maybe it's because I don't pay too attention to the Suns. I can say that. But then I see him resting, right? So the first 2 games, I'm like, oh, maybe he's just not playing, right? He's just resting. He's resting. Then I get a report, oh, his back is hurting. Now I seen a clip because I've been following a lot of the Suns lately, and I seen a clip of his jump shot before and after his back injury. His shot is totally different, and I seen the it was side to side. The Wizards when he was 100% and Suns now. And that's a concerning part to me right then and there. One, because of his contract is absolutely huge. You traded everything for this dude. Two, he has the trade
Trade
what's the thing?
clause.
Trade clause. So
Mhm.
those are two concerns, right? And that's not even him being on the court yet, right? And then now, when he gets on the court, they haven't even had the chemistry yet alone because they haven't played together as much as they should. So he continues to miss time. And the biggest moments you need this dude, and he's not there for you, it's like it's tough. And the Phoenix Suns are struggling right now. Not
Struggling.
only Bradley Beal's out, but Devin Booker's dealing with injuries. He literally played a game, I believe, last night or the night before, and
Mhm.
didn't play today against the Philadelphia 76ers. So what's going
Mhm.
on with Devin Booker? What's going on with Bradley Beal? You're missing your two guys. And you know what that tells me? You're already wearing out Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant came here to play with a super team. That dude's playing with Eric Gordon, freaking Josh Okogie, Yuta. The dude's playing with Drew Eubanks. He ain't come to play with these guys. He wants to play with his stars. And KD is injury, like I want to consider him injury prone, but he definitely his injuries are starting to spike up a little bit more. So his body in wear and tear throughout these games because they haven't been there is another concerning part to me, bro. So
Look,
I'm
man,
concerned.
I'm right there with you, brother. And you brought up some points I didn't even think about. The reason why I'm concerned is because this team was built to be top heavy. Like they when constructing this team, they were like, okay, we are okay with bringing in these 3 stars and then having a huge drop off after, and then not having that much depth. So they built this team to be top heavy around those 3 superstars. But the issue is, if you don't have one of those 3 superstars, then it's like you compromise your depth to bring these superstars, and now you don't even have the superstar
Yeah.
or the depth. So to me, dog, it's looking greasy. They have a 2-5 record right now. They're struggling. And great point that you brought up on Devin Booker. What's really going on? Because he plays one game, won't play the next game, then he'll play. So it's like, do you need a 2-day break between every time you hoop, dog? Like, if that's the case, we
Nah.
in a bad spot.
And I feel like the Suns are going to be a team like the Clippers last year. If you know the Clippers, they missed a lot of their players, but they were just trying to get to the 6th seed, and they finally got to that 6th seed. But then they got a bad matchup with the Phoenix Suns, so the Phoenix Suns could potentially get a bad matchup against. Imagine they play the Clippers again, and everything goes well with a Harden and Russ, right? Because
Yeah,
everybody said the Clippers win that series
for
if Paul
sure.
George and Kawhi is healthy, right? So that they don't want to see them as a first round matchup.
Man, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. The Clippers are smoked the Suns this year. If you get a healthy Clippers and you get a healthy Suns, I'm taking the Clippers 7 times out of 7. I ain't gonna lie.
Nigga, Bradley
That's
Beal's about to get
crazy.
back spasms when he shoots, bro. Like,
But all right, so last rate your worry, and I gotta do this, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm part of Laker Nation,
yep,
even though I'm part of Laker faithful, I gotta be fair and honest here on the show. As
yep.
we know, our guy Gabe Vincent was up for his bag this offseason, and the Lakers gave it to him. 3 years, 33 million. But as we all know, there's a lot of players in the NBA that tend to go to the Lakers and then just poof, disappear. They just vanish from the player they once were. Some have said it to be a lot of pressure. So far, Gabe Vincent has not looked the same at all. Hasn't scored more than 10 points in 4 games. He literally now just entered injury, so he's gonna be out for the next couple of games. It took him I believe it took him 3 games to hit a 3-pointer, which is his specialty. Rate your worry that Gabe Vincent is gonna, like how many other NBA players have done in history, just poof, disappear as a Laker.
Unfortunately, man, I really like Gabe Vincent because if you guys know, I'm a Heat fan, so like he played a huge part of why this my Heat team was really good. But just looking at his numbers alone, 6, 7, 2, and 9, 4 for 7, 1 for 3, 3 for 10, 3 for 8, and like you said, he hasn't hit a three since the fourth game into the season against the Orlando Magic, where he only hit 1 3, and he was 1 for 3 at that. So he's really only, if you really look at the numbers, he's shooting 1 for 14 at the 3 point
God
line, which is a
damn.
7% from the. So like even if it's a small sample size is actually supposed to help you because it's a small sample size. This is affecting him because he's shooting 7% from the 3 point line. Like usually you see numbers like he's averaging 30 and 11 and 6, shooting 60% from the field because it's a sample size. Like okay, no, this is a dude shooting 7% from the 3 point line. That's just
Come on.
outrageous. But
Yeah.
the thing is with Gabe Vincent, I won't be too concerned because I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he will turn it around. But two, I don't think he really came in there expecting Gabe Davis. I said Gabe Davis. Gabe Vincent to come in there and like be one of those top leading scorers. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. But like he wasn't known as like a really big scorer. Like if you look at his statistical stats like throughout the season, like yeah, it does get better and better each year. But he has never averaged 10 points throughout his career. Ever. The only reason why it looks so damn good is because he had the opportunity with the Orlando Magic. I mean, with the Miami Heat, and he had to show out. Like
Yeah.
you had to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? You had to do your thing over there because Kyle Lowry was washed up in a bum. But he was never really like So I'm not gonna be too concerned if he Darvin Ham. What he's doing is putting there like in his defensive lineup, a defensive unit and stuff like that. So we'll see, man. I don't think the numbers will get better. It has to get better because if you're shooting 7% from the 3 point line, it's only going to get better, right? At field goal percent, he's shooting 39% from the field. He's around there throughout his career, like 40, 41. So it'll be he's gonna be fine. He's definitely gonna be fine.
Yeah, I definitely, as a supporter of Gabe Vincent, but also as a Lakers fan, I'm definitely hoping for the turnaround, and I think his numbers will be able to. He'll be able to figure it out. He just has to figure out the flow of the team because on the Miami Heat, like we all know, like they got the whole Heat culture thing, and it's like if you buy into the system, like Eric Spoelstra is such a good coach that he can take like a mediocre player and
Yeah.
just put you in such the right positions every single time that now you just look like a great player. But maybe Darvin Ham doesn't have the expertise to do that.
Well,
But
we all know Darvin's not the greatest
yeah,
coach. He just
definitely.
has he has the talent. He's trying to figure out how to use the talent, and that's tough for coaches, man. So I think he'll be fine, though. I think he'll be fine. And it was a good choice that the Lakers did start D'Lo because D'Lo's playing some good basketball this year.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But all right, so let's go ahead and get to our next segment of the show, and that is who is most likely to. So you let me know who you think is most likely to. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Our first most likely statement is who's most likely to be a first-time All-Star this year.
First time All Star. Well, maybe I'm just gonna go with the cheap option right here, but I think Victor's easily a first time All Star this year. Yeah, Victor
Yo,
Easy.
hey Trent, I ain't gonna lie, gang. I had that. I
Yeah,
have that. And the reason why I have that is because like I thought you were gonna be like, what, you're tripping. A rookie's not gonna be all-star. But
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. If he keeps playing the way I've seen him play these first 3 4 games, there's no way he's not an all-star. Not a
Well,
single way he's not an all-star.
yeah. The dude, he's literally just destroying the Suns.
Destroying the league at 19 years old.
And you can tell he's still raw. Like he still needs to get better at a lot of things because he is sloppy. But the fact that
Yeah.
he's still looking this productive for the San Antonio Spurs, keeping them at 3-2. And not only that, like if we're just gonna talk about like business wise, they want Victor in the All Star game because like
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want a 7-footer dude that can do? But he's probably gonna do stuff that he couldn't do on the court for Greg Pop.
Man, bro, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
No, honestly, I mean, yeah, like how you said, he's definitely raw, and you can see like there's things where he needs to just get used to like the pace of the game. He needs to get used of like how much like some of these like smaller guards just be
yeah,
getting up into him. Like I don't think he's really used to that. But as far as like the talent wise and putting the ball in the bucket, be able to go score, like no, that nigga got it, bro. Like put 38 point double double on the Suns, and also the last Spur to to become an All Star during the rookie year was Tim Duncan, who averaged 21 points and 8 rebounds. Wemby right now is averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds. So there's no way it shouldn't happen.
yeah. And then I know Tyrese was an all star, but like I want him to be voted into an all star, not be like,
Halliburton.
yeah, I want him to be voted into an all star, not be a replacement. Like
Okay.
he doesn't deserve to be like a replacement. Like he's not. He's that guy. So
He
yeah,
is no, he is that guy, and
yeah,
and 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 this year, if you ain't watched the Pacers yet, please go watch him because you're gonna see Tyrese Halliburton is that guy. Like he just wants to play so fast, bro. It's fun to watch him. I ain't gonna lie, they're probably my league pass team this year.
for sure.
But all right, brother. So next, who is most likely to win the scoring title this year?
Ooh, good question. I'm gonna go with my man Luca. Um, Luca's that dude.
That dude, bro. That dude, bro. That shit is crazy. I ain't never seen someone that good in my
Yo,
life.
bro, like just for the fact that like one they need him to take 50 shots a game, and the crazy thing is he takes 50 shots a game, he probably go like 40 for like 50. You know, like he's really that guy. Like Kyrie Irving's just playing what Kyrie Irving's doing what a Kyrie Irving's doing, but like the reason Dallas is like 4-1 is him and Lively are going crazy,
Crazy.
man. So yeah, I will look for Tatum. I meant Luca. I'm sorry, yeah, Luca.
Luca, I love that. I love
Yeah,
that gang. I honestly, I want to go Luca because that's what I said last year. Right now there's 5 players currently averaging more than 30 points per game. That's Luca, Donovan Mitchell, Curry, Fox, and Joel. Out of all those guys, I'll be honest. I think the person who has the biggest chance of winning the scoring title, I think it's gonna be Donovan Mitchell. I ain't gonna lie because I think Luca's definitely doing his thing, but I think Donovan Mitchell in that Cavs situation. I've been seeing a lot of Cavs games so far this season, and there's a lot of times where Donovan Mitchell just has to carry. Like he just has to say,
yeah,
give me the ball and just get out the way, and I'll just carry. Like I believe he had like two 30-point games back to back because Darius Garland was out. Evan Mobley was nowhere to be seen. Like all these players who are supposed to be taking that stride are supposed to be stepping up, don't. And Donovan Mitchell is just like one of them guys that he could just like will himself to go get a bucket. Like just give me the
yeah.
ball and go score.
I was thinking of Tatum because that's who I was going to go as my second option. Because Tatum so far this season only has one game where he scored 20 points, and everything else is 30 points. So if you want to put Tatum into the average and 30 points a game, you could because he's at 29.8.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, you can
Yeah,
definitely throw him in there.
yeah,
You can definitely throw him in there.
yeah. So those will be my two guys, Tatum
Tatum,
and
I ain't gonna lie. I have Tatum for I had Luka for MVP, but after watching the Celtics, dog, like Tatum looks like I don't know how he got better. Like how do you get better from last year, dog? Like
dude.
who are you
Mind you,
training with?
I want to tell you this too because they're blowing teams out. Dude, he like the last two games he put up 30 plus points, but he only has 28 minutes and 27 minutes. That's incredible.
It's
And mind you, he's shooting 15 shots in the last bro, he shot 15 shots, had 30 points.
dog. That's insane type of efficiency. That's
Yeah.
crazy. All
Yeah.
right, that's crazy. So let's get to the last who's most likely to question here, and that is who's most likely to choke in the playoffs? So I guess like another like an AKA question to this is like who's a pretender? Like there might be good regular season, but then they'll choke out in the playoffs.
Man, oh man. Let me just look at something real quick.
Go ahead.
For the sake of it, for the sake of it, for the sake of it, because we just keep seeing it, and it sucks to say. It really does suck to say, but I gotta go with the Clippers again because it, the Clippers have probably the most pressure right now after this trade. They're known for I don't even want to say well they actually blow a lot of leads. I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day they blew a lot of leads. But like when I say choke, like just health wise, they're just gonna be fucked. Like you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
for now I would say the Clippers because like Nuggets don't really have pressure. Warriors don't have pressure. I mean the Lakers have pressure, but like I don't see them like what are they gonna they don't I don't see them choking or anything like that unless they like lose a first round matchup to like the Kings or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, like so like just looking at the Western Conference and I could look at the East too and stuff like that, but like you could say the Celtics maybe. The Sixers,
Okay.
like, do we consider them joking after the Harden trade? Like, I don't think, you know. So, like, the Clippers for me right now. It would be the Clippers.
Okay, I like that. I like that Clippers choice. I'm staying in the West Coast as well, and I'm going with the Mavs, bro. I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie. I just don't believe in the Mavs at all. In the playoffs, like I think Luka and Kyrie will be great in the regular season. They'll be good regular season team, but as soon as the playoffs hit, as soon as teams really start like damn near giving Luka and Kyrie buckets. They're like, go ahead, you score, but we're gonna make everyone else beat us. And like they're gonna get too tired, bro. They can't play every minute of every game. So I think they're gonna end up choking and really end up probably bouncing out first round, which sounds crazy.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But all right, gang. So let's get to our last segment of the show here, and that is the winner and loser of the week. Very simple. You let me know who your winner and loser of the week is. Since you're the guest, I want you to go ahead and go first, my boy. Winner or loser?
So the winners, I'll give it to the Warriors. They're in a 5 game win streak. There's 2 games in a row where they hit buzzer beaters, Curry and Klay Thompson. So I got to give that to them. And even though Draymond Green almost tried to screw it up for them, I don't know if you've seen that where he
I
like,
did
yeah,
tipped it.
yeah, exactly. So those be the two, a winner, and then the Nuggets alone, I give them a winner just for this one reason. After you win a championship, a lot of teams like tend to like, oh, we won a championship, lollygag. No, they're coming out here and they're still 5-1. They're playing the best basketball. They're still playing some really, really good basketball. So you got to give them a lot of credit. So I'll give those couple teams a winner. Losers, obviously, you got to go to the Memphis Grizzlies. They're horrible. They're the worst team in the league. Like the fact that you don't have a win and the Wizards have a win over you, the Charlotte Hornets have a win over you, like that's just kind of pathetic. And the Grizzlies have a better talent than a lot of these teams that have one win. Like they have Desmond Bain, they have Jared Jackson Jr. Like they got talent over there. Like they should be winning, and they got a really solid head coach. So, but then I got to get also the Phoenix Suns. They're definitely losers. They're 2-4, 2-5, but whatnot. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries. We came in with high expectations for that team, and Bradley Beal still hasn't even played a game yet. Devin Booker's in and out the lineup. KD is getting ripped by Keldon Johnson for game winners and stuff like that. So I think that those are the 2 winners and 2 losers for me.
Man, I like that. On the winner, I love your Warriors pick. I went with the Celtics because this week they went 2-0,
Yeah,
making their record
they did their
4-0.
thing.
They
Yeah,
have not they have not lost this week, and they put up 155 points on the Pacers. That's fucking crazy, dog. And they just haven't even like looked like they've any teams gave them any competition. And then my loser of the week, like how you said, it's got to be the Phoenix Suns, but like mainly Kevin Durant because in one week the Suns lost to the Spurs twice. In the first game that they lost to the Spurs, the Suns were dominating the entire game, and with zero, well, I think it's 0.5 seconds left, the Spurs then finally took their first lead of the game, and then went on a low run, and then ended up winning the game. And then also there was a controversial call at the end, like how you said, Keldon Johnson like ripped KD. Some people say he got fouled. It looked like he got fouled. I ain't gonna lie, but they never called a foul. Keldon Johnson went up. Spurs ended up winning by 1. If I'm Kevin Durant, if I'm the best player on the court, if I'm him and I get as many shots as I want, next game, oh, I'm killing shit. I'm coming down court, pulling up on you. I'm dunking on you. I'm all over it. Especially with Devin Booker being back. That was Devin Booker's game back. But no, they this time actually lost by 10. We put up a 38-point double double, and now they're on a 3-game losing streak. So they are losers of the week for me.
nah, definitely. I agree with you, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, there you have it, family. I hope you guys enjoyed this great show that we had. I got to shout out my boy T, man. My boy T for coming on, talking great hoops with us. T, do you have any last words you want to say before we get up out of here?
Man, it was a good episode. Keep grinding, John, and man, I'm about to go get some food.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. For the family out there, make sure you go check out all of T's channels. I'm gonna have everything linked in the description down below and right there in this little bubble. But for now, we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.